my God, there's someone in the chair next to me. It's Jim Mundy. He flew in. How's your arms?
Tired.
It was a long flight. He flew in and he had a big meeting in Fort Lauderdale with where he was the head honcho. He fired half the people and all that kind of good stuff. No, that's not how the story goes. Okay. I'm excited because Jim is here in the Christmas room. I get excited anytime anybody comes into the Christmas room. Otherwise, this house is very quiet. So, Jim, welcome to Miami.
Thank you very much. And it is such a treat to be here. It really is. And as Peter took me on the tour, I said it was like, you know, I have my nephew who was a TV producer, and I would go to Hollywood sets, and it would be amazing. And this was just like that. It was every corner I saw things I recognized. So, and I feel incredibly comfortable when you're very gracious, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, the tour finishes here, so the 50 cents goes in that jar over there on the desk.
Change for $1?
Got change for 100.
Then we're out of luck.
Well, anyway, Jim came down. He brought his camera, which is a Sony, and he got to play with my E1 a little bit, which he did very good, like a fish taking to water. I mean, it was exactly his environment. Did you put the Tamron on your camera or on my camera?
That's my Tamron.
Is that your Tamron?
Yeah.
I thought it looked familiar.
Yeah.
Will you sell it for 50 cents?
No, I'm going to keep that one.
Oh, you're going to keep that one.
No, I did try that on my camera. I loved it, and I think that may be
Did it change the weight?
very much.
Okay.
Yeah, it made it much more.
What lens you got on there?
This is the 24 to 105 Sony G.
Oh my God!
I know.
Where's
I
the
hear
weight?
you
Is it
talk
the
about
camera
the
or
weight.
is it this?
Oh, it's the lens.
Is it really?
Yeah. Change it, and you'll see.
Okay. You do it.
Let me do it.
So you know how I talk about the weight of a camera? Like this camera is, oh my God, after I pick up his camera, this one wants to fly up in the air.
You have been saying that ever since I got,
All right.
I have the ZV E10,
All right.
so I know how light a camera can be.
Oh, it's
but
this one.
Remember, I mostly do photography, so I'm not carrying it around like in selfie situation,
I was under the impression you were going to eventually go live.
but I'm going to use my E10 for that.
Oh,
That's my video camera.
okay.
And they have the ZV E10 II now
Okay.
coming out. So I
Yeah,
may
that
add
is
that for a
that's
second.
That's the rumor.
I
that's
have
coming
the,
out.
I have the Sigma Trio.
Let me see what that weighs like that.
It's better.
Oh my God.
Definitely noticeable.
It's serious.
That's why I really
didn't
like
pick
that
this
lens.
up. Oh, we had lunch. We had steak and lobster.
wonderful.
He ate all of it. It's like there's nothing left.
and we
Tonight,
had dessert.
and we had dessert
Baked
too.
Alaska. It
Baked
was wonderful.
Alaska.
Yep.
But he wouldn't. He has no. He doesn't smoke, so he couldn't light the baked Alaska up and make it flame. This is considerably lighter.
It's a good
I am
match.
really surprised at the weight. Yeah, this is a heavy.
Yeah.
What were they
And it's
thinking when
only
they
an
made
f4,
this?
right? So this is, you're getting a 2.8.
So what?
I
hold that
thought
for a
I wanted
second.
at least one Sony in the system lens.
Well, that's a good
so
choice.
I thought it was a good range.
It's a good choice, and the lens is actually like a piece of jewelry. The glass looks stunning. Is there a filter on the front?
There is.
Oh, I was going to say it's even shiny up front. So the lens is stunning.
How do you feel about filters on lenses? What's your opinion?
I got caught, as they say, with my pants down once. I was shooting a reception, and almost 90% of the pictures were bad because the bride decided she wanted to put candles on all the table, no lights, just these little like floating candles, and it looked like when I looked at the pictures, it looked like there was angels in the room. So what happens is the light comes in and it bounces off of that first lens that's built into the camera, into the lens, bounces back to the filter and then back down the throat of the, and it took me at least a week to figure out what it was. I thought my sensor went out, and ever since then, I never put a lens on other than, a lens. I never put a filter on unless it's a polarizer.
Purpose-built filter,
specially
is what you're doing.
purposed.
Yeah. So I like this lens, and I would consider adding this to my portfolio.
All right, so what I was choosing between the E1 and the A7S Mark IV. I mean, sorry, the A7 Mark IV. This is an
Which is what
A7
this
Mark
is,
IV.
A7
This is
IV.
what, okay. So I was picking between these two cameras, obviously with not that lens. If I had picked up the camera with that lens the first
Would
time,
have been over.
it would have been over. Now, feel the weight on
I
that,
know it's going to feel like nothing.
right? Full frame,
I know.
no crop on 60p. Do you have crop on 60p here? Do you have crop on 60p?
Not on 60, but 4K 120 is crop.
But not on 60.
Not on 60.
So on 60, you get a full frame. I
Yes.
think you're wrong. Are you sure?
Not 100%
Okay.
sure.
I think that was one of the negatives.
I thought the 120 was what was
I know the
negative.
120 is crop. So can you turn this on? I don't know how to work this camera. I mean, these fangled Sony cameras are crazy. And just go from, what do you set at 30p normally?
20. Peter Gregg taught me
Shoot at
4K
30p.
24p.
24p. Can you change it to 60p easily, or is it a big deal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, what we would do if we could, in case you needed to.
I'll check it while I'm driving over. I'll play with it.
Okay, that's good. He's going to drive from here to, let's say, Naples and farther north from up there. We keep the city private, to keep his private life private. He comes from, New York, and he lives at 1123. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to give your address out. No,
I'm not going to play with it now. 'Cause
okay,
I
well, give
I
it
will
to
get-
me.
You might. It's got the new system.
Okay. Oh, it does?
Yours has the old lens menu system. Right?
No, it has that one.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so
Watch
you
this.
go into the,
Such a pro.
you go into here.
Because he really was a pro. I've never been a pro. I'm watching.
You have anything else to say? I tell you something. Jim has one of the best sets of humors that I have run in. He was laughing all the way through lunch. We had hamburgers, and he said, "I'm still hungry." Then we had hot dogs, and he said, "I'm still hungry." And I made French fries, and he said, "I'm still hungry."
He said no dessert, and he said, "Oh, geez.
And I said, "Okay, I don't have anything else." And he says, "You didn't make me dessert?" And he gave me this puppy dog face. Of course, we're joking. He's
Lunch was awesome.
extremely gracious. Okay. You go into the movie.
right."
Okay.
Now, for just so you know, I almost never do video on this camera, so that's.
Okay. But just in case you ever
I know.
do,
I want to learn.
you go to image quality,
Right.
and you want to wind up at movie settings. So you're going to go over, and it was already there.
Yep.
The one above it is where you're doing
4K.
yeah, but you're doing it H.265, which is good. Okay? Okay. It's very good. Trust me, it's good. Okay? Oh, we're on that camera. All right, so now the movie settings. Now here's your frame rate,
Right.
24p.
As Peter told me to be 24p.
That's excellent. Okay, what's your other choice there?
60p.
Okay, we're going to go to 60p. Okay, now what we did not do is we need to look at and see if it's cropped.
It's cropped.
It is cropped?
I don't know. I'm hoping it's
okay.
not.
All right.
I don't
So
like to be wrong.
from right here, all right, we're at 60p. Let's put the mouse like right there. All right, so the mouse will be right at the end over here.
Okay.
The rest doesn't matter. It's the mouse that moves. That would be a bad thing, okay? So the menu is over on this side. We're going to go over here, and we're going to go from 60 to 24, and then say, okay, it's cropped. Do you see how much more?
Yes.
I mean, even if I'm
And it
fiddling
doesn't look like
around,
there even is a 120K in there.
it probably is.
But at a
it would
different-
be under S and Q, which is up here. See where it's up here?
Yes.
You see
I know
that? Little?
nothing about my camera.
Okay. Oh, it's a nice camera.
So now I know that I know about it.
I'll give you
It should
$12.
be. It should be nice.
No, the A7 Mark IV. I ran this Christmas room for 2 years on the A7 Mark III. So the A7 Mark IV, having advances like it's got, that it even has 60p in there, and all that stuff is fantastic. So why did I choose one of these? This one, okay, over this one.
Wait.
It would be an important factor, but the main thing would be the stabilization. Okay.
Which is like nothing else.
which is like nothing else. I did see a camera today. Shane has been here from Australia. Geeky Nerdy Tech, whatever.
Geeky Nerdy Techie.
That one. Thank you. All right. And he did a video today. It came out, I think it came out today, on the G9 Mark II. And do you know that the stabilization looked as good as the stabilization on the E1?
And G9
I was
is
shocked.
what?
It's
G9
a
is a
it's a micro four thirds.
okay.
G9 Mark II is a Panasonic. Is that what you were asking me?
Yes.
Okay.
The
But it's also micro four thirds. So we're talking full frame cameras here. All right. So before I hand this back to you, I want to go back in. If I was a mean son of a gun, I'd leave it in 60p and you wouldn't know how to get out of it. Okay. So
It's
you're
in
at 24. Okay. So you're where you need to be. And then we'll go back out. And then if we look across the top, it confirms that we are at 24p. All this information across the top is telling you you're shooting at 422, 24p, H.265. You've got 1 hour and 59 minutes left on this card, okay? And your battery is at 76%. You're running auto white balance. You've got that on, which I don't know what that is, okay? And that's dynamic range extender and stuff, but it does funky things to the skin, all right? And you're using one of the profiles. It's not telling me. You're also shooting at aperture priority.
That was so I could walk around here.
Okay, that's fine. So you got it set up very nice. It's almost like you know what you're doing.
Well, these settings were from a conversation you and I had.
Oh, so
about
you got
this
it from an expert,
Yes.
somebody that knew what they were doing.
He just didn't. He confused me about the crop. I don't like to.
Well, you
crop.
surprised me because that would be a major
don't-
thing with
I
the
don't
crop.
like
If it was
to
60p with no crop, oh my God, that's major news. Okay. So you realize if you go home with that lens, this one's staying.
I do realize that.
You
and I'm
do.
actually debating it.
I didn't think you would fall for that, but the weight on this is like surprising.
Crazy.
Okay. I put my cap on here because I can't stand it to be open.
It was bothering me too.
Yeah, okay, good. Not that it's bothering you, but we agree that it needs to be covered. All right. So you have this camera. Do you have it in black or white?
Black.
Okay, so you have this camera, and you have this camera.
Yes.
That's very opposite.
Yes.
Which one do you reach for?
This one on
This one?
photography. This one for video.
All right, so where do you do photography? When you're not in the living room at your house?
Correct.
Okay. Because I know that we had talked about setting up a studio in your living room, and which
we
is
will.
coming down, right?
Well,
Because
it's
you're
gonna be in
moving
a
to a
new-
different room.
I'm moving. I'll have a full office that I can set up.
Okay. Oh, congratulations. It's
Let-
a new place.
Congratulate me after it's done because
After it's-
I don't move well.
All right, how about if we all get together and meet at Jim's 2 Saturdays from now, and we'll move them out of one house into the other. You want to do that?
Y'all are welcome.
So I would say, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Sammy was here and Joey was here.
Tim and Joey.
And you are adding to that list of wonderful people that have visited me. Sly has visited me. Shane has visited me. Jonathan, the violinist,
Violinist.
has visited me.
I have my violin in the car.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well,
You know, I got to get on the road. But
oh,
next
that's right.
time.
He's leaving to go to Naples. So we ate. We talked way too much. We do talk very
We did.
well.
We talked,
okay.
We talked. It was
It's
good.
like we've known each other for 100 years. And I said, let's do a video before you go. And you said, no, I have to leave. And I said, please. And he said, okay. So anyway, I do want to say thank you for being here. You're not centered very well on here. The guy who's running this thing obviously doesn't know what he's doing. Okay.
Because I was in a hurry to get out of here.
Because you were in a hurry to get out of here. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having
Did you
me.
want to say anything that maybe I missed that was on your mind? I didn't think so, but I'll give you a chance. All right. Time's
No, I
up.
mean, no. Now,
Okay.
You will help me. We've talked about my career work is cybersecurity, and the whole reason I was ever looking and met Peter Gregg was looking at YouTube and doing the videos so that I could start building a presence talking about cybersecurity, but not just real techie stuff, but cybersecurity for everybody. Like I say, cybersecurity for my sister.
I was going to
needs
say,
it.
if you want, just keep it shallow.
That's
Is cybersecurity what you would do if a company got attacked and they took away their computer or their something. Ransomware. Oh.
All those kind of things. But how do you
Wait, so you're a
yourself?
specialist in that kind of stuff?
That's my gig.
I never knew you were that smart.
That's what, well, most people around don't know how smart I am or I'm not. And I'm
That's
running
pretty,
with that.
that's pretty deep stuff. When a man knows how to get into a computer and stop other people from attacking you, that is pretty major, in my opinion. So in case you can't tell, up in the right corner, that shows you which camera we're on. So if the people look way up there, we're on the Nikon, which is Randy's camera.
Randy's camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see all the camera. That was fun, coming in here and seeing.
Isn't that fun?
I saw the Sly bar.
The Sly bar is right there.
Yep.
It's amazing how he knows all this stuff. So what did you think when you came in here? It's cold, first time.
It didn't look like I would expect it.
Okay. Was it smaller than you thought?
I thought the video compressed it is the word I used, but I wouldn't say that it looked bigger or smaller. I didn't think like that. I just thought like it looked like the Christmas tree was closer to me.
And how far is it really? I mean, for people that don't know what they're...
6 feet?
Yeah, I would say it's 6 feet plus. Well, these tiles are 2 feet each. So 2, 4, 6, actually 8 if you get right to the heart, the meat of the tree.
Yeah.
So the tree is a lot farther back than you think.
But there's a lot going on over there.
Over there, it's all technical.
Yes, that's
And
what I looked at.
Jim was in there looking at this camera, that camera, that camera, that camera, and then he says, where is that machine that puts all these cameras where you could put it into... You know what you didn't ask me? Where is my studio, the new studio computer?
I know it's not there
Not
because
there.
I saw that one.
Which one is that?
That's the original, isn't it?
Right, one of the originals. It matches the other original. There's
But
two of those.
I don't know.
I bought that one as a, what do they call it when you buy it refurbished? And I got that cheaper. I paid full price for this one.
Now you got me
Don't
going.
look down there, though.
Yeah, I did miss that, but I wanted to see
That's where the computer is.
the 4 cameras because I didn't. Well, we won't go into it, but I'm from the day that I first saw a Peter Gregg video in this room, I've wanted to understand the workings behind. So now I'm here. I've been to the mountain.
Will you come back?
Yes,
You have
absolutely.
an
If you
open
invite me,
invitation. You're
you'll have me
invited
back.
publicly. Now, I'm going to run this at the beginning of tonight's live show.
Sorry you have to go through this, folks.
Yeah, really. Okay. And it's going to, you won't know that we're not live until I'm telling you now. We're not live. It is like 2:30, 3:30 in the afternoon, something like that.
350.
And yeah, he needs to leave to go to the west side of the state. He's driving. He got this really cheap rental. I can't believe that the man is so cheap. He couldn't splurge a few pennies. So he's driving a BMW SUV, extra large.
But it was points. I travel all the time, so it's points.
Yeah. Well, you know one thing that Jim does really, really good?
Talk.
I tease him and he flings it right back. It's absolutely amazing. So, and he was in hysterics at least 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
Okay. And he coined a phrase that's going to go up on a bumper sticker. Can't remember what it was. See, he's laughing.
And it's probably not for
You had to be there. It was one of those
YouTube
things.
will block this video. if you
Yes,
share it,
YouTube,
probably.
if we go like that,
Yeah, we will.
they would block the video. But boy, he comes up with some zingers. All right, let's go over to the live Peter Gregg. Right now, this is a taped Peter and Jim. Thank you so much for coming. I really mean it.
Thank you
You're
for having
awesome. He's, I've spoken to him so many times. It wasn't a big transition when you came, you know.
Peter was out front, waving at me as I came in, gave me great directions, even better than my navigation did. So
That was important. They would have sent you right through the heart of Miami, and you would still be going like, Peter, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
yeah,
So it wouldn't have been that bad. But I mean, this was a lot easier. It was 2 turns to get here.
yeah.
And that was it. And it's so easy, even Jim can do that.
It's right off the interstate.
Well, it is. All right, guys, let's go to the live portion. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having
I
me.
love this guy so much, just like I love each and every one of you. And actually, you know what's a little bit surprising? Jim knows you by name.
Yeah.
He named Sammy, he named Joey, he named Norm, he named Shane in Australia, he named Roy, he named Sly. I better not go through names because now somebody's going to feel left out. But I mean, he knows everybody, which means I better be careful because he's paying attention to what I say. All right. I'll join you live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoosh.
Oh,
All
I
right.
wanted to do the wish.
Oh, you want to do the wish? Okay, we can do
That's
that
not a
again.
recording thing.
We're going to do that again. Okay.
That's one of my favorite things.
That's his favorite thing. I'm going to let Jim whoosh.
Which
Okay.
way do you wish? To the right or to the left?
Counterclockwise.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're going to go to Peter Gregg live on Friday night in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wish. There's not really going to be a wish? No, there can't because it's live.
You're
Okay.
right. That's right. But you got to
I
do
got
the
to
wish.
do the wish.
You got to do the wish. And it's whoosh, W-U-S-H, not W-I-S-H. So stop coming here and wishing.
Don't wish.
Okay, boy, that guy could talk. That Peter Gregg, he never shuts up and let Jim talk. What is up? So I had the microphone. By the way, welcome. It's Friday night. You actually made it to another Friday night. And I got my tea, my Dean Martin drink that looks like whiskey. I can act drunk. And you'll think it's either a urine sample, apple juice, or iced tea. I'll give you a hint. It's green tea, decaffeinated. Okay. So, as I started to say, I had the mic between the two of us. I had that chair. I don't know if you could see it over there. I had that chair right here next to me so that I was careful to put our faces on the same plane. Okay? You know what that means? Not airplane. It means that we were lined up, so this way both sets of faces would be in focus. And I had moved the mic in the front because the last time I did it when Sammy was here, I had used this mic and I mic'd up the boys with a lapel mic. And it gave me a little bit of feedback. So the sound was not exactly right. So I figured I'll get it right tonight, right? I'll get it right tonight. I moved this microphone and I put it right in the middle. And if you play this back, okay, you'll see that it's aiming in the middle. So he's not a quiet talker. Well, he's a little bit quiet. But, I mean, the volume was fine. But when I was doing the video on Final Cut Pro, I'm going like, holy cow, focal plane. Thank you. Thank you, Lewis. Hi to Lewis. Hi to Sammy. Hi to Scotty. Scotty's doing the whoosh. Well, if you come here, you could do the whoosh if you want to. Okay. Let me tell you something. Jim is a lot of fun. I talked to him on the phone, and I would say we talk every couple of weeks. There was a period of time he's setting up something in his living room where he's going to go live too. So we're going to wind up being the live club, you and me together. All right, let's get the cameras. Oh, there's Jim right now. Let's put him up. Yeah, I guess he got there safely. Hi, gang. Peter, thank you so much for the hospitality. Connie and Frank. Hi, Connie. Hi, Frank. Are watching with me. So Connie is Jim's sister. Cutest thing you ever wanted to see. And I hate to say how old she is, but she's not. She's past the 39-year-old birthday. Twice. Shh, don't say that publicly. Now she's sitting over there smacking him. Why did you tell him how old I was? Connie, we all love you here now because we know who you are. And Frank is her boyfriend. I don't know what's wrong with you, Frank. You've been with her so long, why don't you marry the woman? With all the stories that Jim was telling me today, you two make a fantastic couple. Get it over with, Frank, and marry her. Okay? So that is Jim's sister, who lives on the west coast of Florida. In case you didn't know it, I'm in Miami, so I'm on the east side. And Lewis, Mr. Camera Junkie, is on the east side. And Connie and Frank, they're going to open their own YouTube channel eventually. I get everybody to open a YouTube channel. They're on the west side. So you go to the west side, you go to Naples. then you start heading north. Now, I don't want to give their location away just for security and privacy purposes, but they're in a city farther north than Naples. So it would take what? To go from here, he left and he said it would take him about 4 hours by the time he got settled in, turn in that little cheapy weepy BMW. Boy, that was a gorgeous car. Let me tell you. Let's get the cameras rolling. Why am I stuck on this one camera? So the BMW was black. Oh my God, it was gorgeous. I'm sitting out front in the chair and I'm waiting for Jim, and this big black BMW SUV just rolls up and I'm going like, is that the president? Is that President Trump? And it was Jim. He got out of the car and said, hey. So I recorded the hello, and then I had to put the camera down because Sammy saw the video and he said, you cut the video off. Well, I had to put the camera down because Jim came over and gave me a big hug. I'm a hugger, so, and apparently Jim is a hugger too, or at least I got a hug. What can I tell you? So he came in, I gave him a tour of the house. He brought his A7 Mark IV, and he was eager to see my my E1, this is the Sony E1. So this is the one, he had one of those X's, Roy. So I don't know which one, but he had one of them. And then I gave him a tour of the house, and we eventually sat down at the kitchen table. Kitchen table is where all the action is around here. Well, actually, it's the Christmas room is where all the action is. So, Connie, you paying attention? There's going to be a test at the end of all this, okay? And Frank is probably, what time is it? It's after 10. Frank is probably he's gonna doze off. No, Jim said that Connie is a night owl-ish type of a person, which I tend to be too, except sometimes I'll lay down in bed and I figure I'm going to turn the TV on or I'm going to watch some YouTube and I'll fall asleep and then I'll wake up at 1 o'clock. Then I'm up all night long. But usually I'll get a good night call from Sammy or somebody to wake me up before it's time to go to sleep. So Sammy is saying, how did Jim like the Sammy fries? So let's put Sammy up there. Okay, and when the boys were coming down, which was Sammy and his friend Joey, I said, I'm making hamburgers and hot dogs or whatever you want, but they wanted hamburgers and hot dogs. Well, what do you want with it? Well, French fries. Well, I got a new air fryer, and Sammy said, oh, wow, you got a new air fryer. So, I said, I don't know which brand to get. So he said to get, Nathan's crinkle cut, French fries. So I made those. Jim allowed me to have 2 or 3. No, Jim is very gracious. I don't eat French fries. You guys know I'm on a low-carb diet, right? So I have to tell you, something bad happened to me this week. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm okay, right? But I wasn't happy with what happened, but I'll get to that in a minute, which means I'll probably forget to tell you. So from the moment that Jim came in the door, I started following around, talking to him and stuff like that. But before he got here, I gave a little tour of the house, and I showed you, you know how you clean up for company? You know, company's coming, clean up, sweep the floor, vacuum, and all that kind of good stuff. So I record some of that, and I put that on my Patreon channel. So the Patreon channel, I know it's very expensive, so I know a lot of you can't afford it. It's $1 a month, 25 cents a week. But you'll get to see the videos I put up there. And I mean, I don't get dressed up. I don't comb my hair. Sometimes I'm just coming out of the shower. Sometimes I'm in my shorts. But I'll just grab the camera and just show you the video. So if you want to see those videos, it's going to cost you $1. Oh, man, I got you now. I love it when it's so cheap that I can make fun of it because people are always like begging for money, and I hate doing that. So I was able, Sammy helped me, and able to set the Patreon at $1. So you can name your price. So you can name it. A lot of the people are not at $1, Okay, but let's say you just want to see those videos. You want to see what goes on in my life. So you'll pay the 25 cents, that quarter. You'll pay the quarter so you can see what I'm doing, okay? So if I'm smart, you'll find out. I'll have a link in the description below. If I'm not smart, the link won't be there. So let's go. Jim Mundy says that he loved something that was surprising. Wait a minute. Roy says, plenty of fat in commercial fries. Oh, yes, baby. And I want that fat. I don't fire my cylinders on sugar like you do, Roy, okay? I fire my cylinders, my engine, on fat. But it's supposed to be good fat, honestly. It's not supposed to be bad fat. It's supposed to be healthy fat, like from meats and stuff like that. So French fries is actually not a healthy thing to eat, but I snuck a couple. I mean, they smell so good, you know. So Jim loved the TV cart that Sammy helped me get. Because, you know, next Friday, get your pictures ready. I'll be going through the pictures that you send me, okay? And I'll bring the TV. So it's on rolling wheels, the Toshiba TV. It's a 40-inch, and I'll bring it right here next to me. And Jim helped me move it over there, and he goes, boy, this is a nice cart. I says, yeah, that's from Sammy. So he goes, wow, that was awful nice for Sammy to get something like that for you. I said, yeah, well, it helps me to show and share all the pictures, okay? So I do want to make this somewhat camera related. So what was interesting is, all right, wait a minute. I'm getting, Sammy says $1 for Peter is cheaper than a cookie. I don't know, Peter or a cookie? Peter or a cookie? If I were you, I'd take the cookie. I love cookies. Chocolate chip cookies? Oh, yes, baby. So Roy says, I'm not compatible. No, he's saying I'm incompatible with sugar. I'm not so sure. But Sammy says, sign up for Peter's pay. Thank you, Sammy. Now, that is a really awesome buddy. There is the link for my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Peter Gregg. And you can sign up. And you can see all the old videos that are there. It's not like just from here forward. And they bill you $1. You better be ready. You better make sure your bank account is ready to hit that. Oh, in a few days, and I think I got it covered. I've been saving hard, okay? It's been a year since you guys helped me get Ecamm. It was a year ago where you guys raised the money for me to buy Ecamm for a year. So February 20th, it will actually be a renewal time. So I'm like right within a couple of bucks. So I'm counting on a few dollars that are going to come in here or there. So we will be paying for Ecamm for the next year. Yes! I love it when a plan works out. Okay? So that was a fun video to watch, and if Jim looked like a fun guy, he is. You know, if I win the lotto, or Sammy and I prayed, I've got millions of dollars coming in, I'd like to have a big house, really big house, with a lot of bedrooms, so that anybody that wants can just come for a few days. There will be a limit. You can't stay for the rest of your life, okay? But you'll be able to come for a few days and stay here at one of my spare bedrooms. That's what millionaires do. They take care of their family and their friends, and that is you. Okay, so I thought, like, I offered to Jim, if you wanted to stay, you'd have to sleep on the couch, all right? But he needed to get the car back to the airport, and he was heading over to his sister's. So he's been here for a whole week, and he did his stuff. Now, he is a consultant for companies that get into ransomware, where they lock up your computers, or people that get, they lock up your computers and they make you pay $1,000 or $5,000 to get your computer back, or just go buy a new one, But on a company where you got a website, you got orders, you got You've got to fill out orders and stuff like that. We don't protect ourselves well enough. Where is my ear muffins? This is my eyeglasses ear muffins. So basically, you put it on, you go back and forth, you squeeze it like tweezers. Okay, can you see that? You put your glasses between there, and it cleans both sides of the eyeglass at the same time. That's really, really cool. I should put a link for that in the description. If I had half a brain, I would. But maybe I'll do that after the show's over. So I had a great time with Jim. Now, the interesting thing was in our conversations, we were kind of not really in a serious way, but in a non-serious way. So get ready. There's a question coming your way. Okay? And it's a camera question. And I want you to answer it. Okay? So we were talking, and Shane, Geeky Nerdy Techie, put up a video today of the new Panasonic G9 Mark II. And lo and behold, if that camera didn't come out better than I expected, and I've got plenty of Micro Four Thirds lenses, 1.2 lenses, expensive lenses. Okay, so here's the question: where you are right now, okay, right where you are this second. This is a question that's in the now. Okay, so you need to be in the now, not come in here late like Woody that just came in late, okay? And he wants to know where Jim is. Jim is at his sister's house right now. And that's Connie, who's watching. Hi, Connie. We all love you. I love you, Connie. And Frank. We love you too, Frank. How you guys doing? All right. Now, the thing is, here's my question. Now, you guys that have multiple cameras, you're going to have to play along and not be a smart aleck, okay? I've got a lot of cameras, but I basically settled in on this one with the little wind muffin on top, okay? And it needs a haircut. See, it's got its hair sticking up like me. All right, so if you had to buy and use one camera today, including the camera that you have, so you might be very happy with your camera. And the question is, what would you purchase? Now, here's the rules. This is not a free-for-all. I'm not asking you what's your favorite camera. Roy, pay attention, okay? I'm asking you if you had to buy one camera, you can have a selection of lenses, and you had to use that camera, let's say, for the next 6 months. I was going to say a year, but for some of you, that might be too traumatic, okay? So you had to use that one single camera only, no exceptions. We're going to lock up all your cameras, okay, in a camera cage. What camera would you buy today? And you need to think about it before you just shoot off an answer, okay? So if you've got a YouTube channel, you're going to have to use that camera for your YouTube channel. If you go to restaurants and you go to places with your friends, you're going to need to use that same camera when you go places with your friends. If you do photography and not much video, you're going to have to use that camera. If you do a lot of video and you do a lot of photography, you're going to have to use that one camera that you're going to declare right now. So what I want to know is, what camera would you buy? And the question I was going to say, it could be any camera you want, but it needs to do everything you want to do. So you can't go out, Sammy, and buy the Arri Alexa, okay? Because when you come here, you're not going to be able to take pictures of me, buddy. So you're going to need one camera, and it needs to be open to all your needs. Listen to that. Listen to that last part of my sentence. It needs to be open to all of your needs across the board. You're not allowed to pick up and use another camera for 6 months. And for those of you that go like, well, I don't have to take pictures for 6 months, I'm going to say 2 years for you, okay? In other words, I want an answer. what camera would fit all your needs if you could go to Adorama or B&H and purchase any camera you want, okay? And if you choose the Arri Alexa, you're shooting yourself in the foot, or the Red Komodo or something like that, because you can't take pictures with that. And the answer is, oh, well, I never take pictures. That's not true, okay? Not allowed to use your iPhone for pictures, all right? So you can only use one camera. So I was going to spit out right off the bat that I would choose this camera, which is the Sony ZV-E1. But you know something? That's a pretty serious question if I take it at face value. In other words, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck, okay? And I'm not saying what's your favorite camera. I'm thinking of what features do I like? What would I like to do? Like Jim came today, all right? And before he came, I needed to make a video for the Patreon channel. So I used this camera. I walked through the kitchen, the living room. I walked through the my cooking room, which I have a pantry that's big enough to be my cooking room. I came in here. I showed all the cameras. Like Roy said, I want to see all your cameras. Well, I showed all my cameras in today's video on Patreon. It'll cost you 25 cents a week, okay? $1 a month. It's billed by the month. Now, I might go for this camera, but there might be some other cameras that I would entertain. I have to wonder if Jim would entertain another camera, okay? So I'm leaning towards the E1 as my do-all everything camera. So the reason I'm not jumping on it is, what if I have to shoot something professionally? Would I want to shoot something professionally with the ZV-E1? Okay, I'm not sure. I'm being honest and truthful. So that's why I'm coming to the family, okay? And I'm asking the family, what camera would you purchase today? And you can't use anything else, including your phone, for 6 months, okay? All right, so now let's go over to the board and see what everybody's answering, because I'm curious. So I'm sure some of you can't resist joking, and that's fine. It is Friday night, all right? So Lewis is saying, hi, Jim and Peter. Lewis, Mr. Camera Junkie, Panasonic has always had great image stabilization. They fixed their autofocus. That's true. Roy says, now I want to see the cameras behind the scenes. Cost you $1. I got you for $1. Sammy, he's on the road again. That BMW was gorgeous. It actually shocked me when he drove up, because this nice, beautiful BMW came up, you know. And oh, I always know when it's not live. I watch YouTube at 2x and it gives it away. You can't do that for this show while I was pumping out that video, because it was pumping it out live. Now, after it's done on the rewind, you could watch it at 2x. So Sammy says, yes, me too. And Scotty is getting into the whoosh, 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 whoosh. And Sammy says, I am happy to see Mr. Peter tonight. I love you, Sammy. I love everybody that's in here. Which camera am I on? Over here, the Randy cam. And, oh, Randy's supposed to be coming over after his roof gets repaired. You'll get to see Randy sitting in here. Maybe by then I'll get the mics straightened out. So let's try to catch up. And this is where Jim was saying, thank you for the hospitality. We had a great time. We had hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries. I never told you what we had for dessert. We had strawberries and blueberries with whipped cream on top. And you know something? It was darn good. Actually better than darn good. So again, hi Connie, hi Frank. Thank you for letting him stay an extra day to be here. It's Frank's sister and brother-in-law. And I got to Sammy's Fries. Roy says, I want to see the cameras behind the scenes. Patreon. Sammy says, did you add more flowers to the set? I don't know, Sammy. You might have moved them around. Not quite sure. You'll have to look in and tell me. Jim says, I love the fries, and I loved Sammy's TV cart. And Sammy's saying, thank you. That's great, Jim. Sammy says, $1 for Peter is cheaper than a cookie. Would you give me a cookie, please? Please give me a cookie. Go to the patreon.com link and sign up for $1. Now, don't be expecting fancy with the tie and all handsome and the hair combed. I just grabbed this camera, and I'm showing you what I'm doing that day. I might miss a day, you know. What do they say? I will vlog daily, mostly. So, okay. Here, Sammy put it up. The Patreon is patreon.com/PeterGregg. And oh, it is in the description. I'm not as dumb as I thought. Got to pat myself on the back. Okay, here, since I was patting myself on the back, okay, my shoulder has been sore, which made me think I started. That's what happened with Jim and me. Exactly what I'm doing right this second. I start like 5 conversations at the same time. So Jim and I had like 7 conversations going at the same time. All at the same time, okay? So the bad news for me is I gained 12 pounds in 4 days, and I didn't change my diet. So I don't know what was wrong. So then I told my brother, you know, I gained 12 pounds like in 4 or 5 days. And he says, you had to do something different. And then it dawned on me, I ran out of one of my pills, and it's the diuretic, the one that makes you pee an hour after you take it. And for 5 days, I haven't been taking that. I gained 12 pounds. So I got 12 pounds of water in this body? Gee whiz, Batman. So March 6th is when I'm getting my physical, and they won't renew the prescription before that. So between now and then, I don't know what to do. You know, don't say eat a banana, okay, because the bananas have too much carbs. So it's in the description. So Sammy says, I'm thinking of getting a new camera. Roy says, is Patreon better than the Super Chats? Yes, it's much better than the Super Chats. Now, you should ask me, but why? All right. Well, they take, I think, 5 or 7%, and the Super Chats take 35 or somewhere in that range %. So if you give the $1, okay, I would get like 75, 80 cents through Patreon, and I would get like less than 50 cents through YouTube. YouTube is heavy-handed. They're wicked. They're wicked company. Jeff is here. He's saying good day, y'all. And Scotty says, how's the Jack Daniels? Thank you. I need another drink before I sing, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. I'll just get a little booze here. It's green tea. It's sweet tea made with green tea. Actually, Jim had some. How was the green tea? How was the sweet tea? Bop, bop, bop. So Sammy says, can you pray tonight so that New Jersey doesn't get snow? I don't want it to snow tomorrow, just like it did all week. Okay, we pray for good weather for Sammy for this next week in Jersey. In Jesus' name, and all those that agreed, what do you guys say? Come on, you know what to do. Amen. Sammy needs good weather, and I know he's got some class assignments that he needs to get done. So he asked for prayer. Bop, 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 bop. Jim is definitely a fungi. I don't know what that means. I'm sure it's supposed to be nice, but I don't know. Funguses is something you put medication on. So Jim is a funny guy. Oh, that's probably what you said. You're talking into your phone, aren't you? So he's saying Jim is definitely a funny guy. And don't you love it when it does that? It just rewrites what you wrote. It almost slipped. I was going to go on because I don't want to insult Jim. He was just sitting here. Okay? So I'm thinking he's saying he's a funny guy. Funny guy.
Bop, bop, bop. Roy is saying, Sammy, move to Australia and you won't get any more snow. I did. There you go. So Sammy says, oh, I like the snow, but there's something I'm doing tomorrow and I don't want it to get canceled. So that Sammy has a real reason for him to have good weather. So we can pray for good weather for Sammy for tomorrow. Okay. So Woody, how you doing, buddy? How's everything going? Jim talks very nicely about you, Woody. So you'll have to watch this over because you get a whole 20 minutes of Jim and me. You missed it. Next time, don't fall asleep. That's what Randy does. He eats a nice meal. He settles back. Oh, and the next thing you know, he's yawning, and then his dog jumps up in his lap, and it's nice and warm, so it's warming his tummy, and Randy falls asleep. But I think I saw Randy in here. I think I did. I don't remember. So I'm still trying to get down to what camera would you buy? So Jeff is saying hi to Roy. Roy is talking to Sammy. I haven't seen snow since Europe. Nice to see it, but it's better to avoid it. Okay, we're getting into the cameras. Unlimited money or how much? I'll unlimit your money, okay? But the camera's got to be functional for you. I'm not asking you what's your dream camera if you had all the money in the world. That's a different question. Okay. Roy says, for work, I'd buy a Nikon Z9, otherwise a Nikon Z8. Can't accept that. You can't have more than one camera. So you need to buy the one camera you're going to use for the next 6 months. That is the rule of this game. Now, remember, it's a game, so don't get flustered. Seriously. You know, nothing's going to change in my house or your house. I've got like a dozen cameras here. All right. But I was just thinking as I was playing with Jim's camera and he was playing with this one and he's going like, well, that was kind of heavy and this is kind of nice and that's kind of nice. And then Shane came in with that G9 Mark II and I'm going like, well, that camera's a lot nicer than I thought. And I'm thinking that would be a great question to ask you guys. What camera would you buy right this minute? And you can only use that for quite a while. I picked 6 months. But if 6 months is something you could laugh at, let's make it a year or two for you. In other words, I want an honest answer. I'm not looking for you to break the rules. What camera would you buy? That's the question that's on deck right now at this moment. All right. So Charles says he would buy the new Fujifilm X100 6. Comes out Tuesday, February 20th. Okay. So we got an honest answer. And that's the only camera he can use. Can't use his phone except to make a phone call. No pictures, nothing. So he would pick the Fujifilm X100 Mark 6. Okay. All right, Jeff. I would, without hesitation, go with the Canon R5. That's one of the ones that is on my mind too. Okay. With the Canon R5 because Canon makes a 16 millimeter wide lens. And with 45 megapixels, I can zoom that into almost 85 millimeters, especially at your house. I mean, I wouldn't do that at a wedding. All right. So that would be one of the contenders. Now I have to add weight and size to the mix, okay, and come up with an answer. So that's why, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Charles. Gregory says, hi, Greg, first of all. I do product photography for my Amazon FBA business, so I would buy a Sony A7R5. That's a good choice also. If I didn't mention any money, okay? So if you're going to do that, can I make a suggestion for you, Greg? Remember, there was no money. Don't be thinking, oh, I can't afford this or I can't afford that. The camera, one of the cameras that would be very high on my list would be the A9 Mark III. Because it's got all the features that this camera has, but doesn't have that special, wonderful overheating feature. It's just missing on the A9 Mark III, okay? Now, that is a $6,000 camera, and nobody's going out tonight and buying a new camera. So this is just the game. Roll with the game, boys, okay? Just like when you're at cards playing poker, you got to roll with the game. You can't get up and say, I want to play Go Fish, okay? So that would be right at the top of my list. So Randy is here. So, but the camera that you chose, Gregg, is good. But I would highly recommend the A9 Mark III. Okay, no holds barred. You can buy any camera you want. So Randy is now. Why does that look so? Probably because of Jim. That is because of Jim. Now, how do I get this more? There we go. Oh, Peter, you look so much better now. That was annoying me. I couldn't get the gumption up to go straighten myself up. So Randy says a hybrid camera. You want to let us in on which one? Scotty says probably the latest iPhone. You might be able to do that, but if you had a league to photograph, you can be able to do that with the iPhone? I think the answer is yes, but I want to know what you think, Scotty. So Jim is saying, I miss you, Peter. I wish I was still there. Okay. Hi, Woody. I was at the top of the show. We recorded it earlier. You can catch it on the rewind. Yes. And, boy, you got the right words there, Jim. Is Connie still watching? Hi, Connie. Still love you. I see you over there. You look pretty. You look pretty. Oh, by the way, what are we having with the coffee tonight, Connie? I'm always interested in that. So Sammy is saying he would get the FX3 full frame, does uncompressed video. That is one of the things that the FX30 doesn't have. That's good. So Sammy's able to come up, give a bang-on answer to the question. So Woody is thanking Jim. Scotty says no iPhone. You can use the iPhone, but you can't have any other camera. Remember? So I want to know what would fit your circle there. Or are you trying to say there's no one camera that will work for you? I think you're getting too complicated. If I can do it, you can do it. Have another little Jack Daniels, and you'll come up with an answer, Scott. Roy agrees. Scotty, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Sammy says, you could rig out the E1 for photo or for video. Yeah. I take lots of pictures with this camera. Everybody says, oh, this camera's no good for pictures. I take a lot of pictures. As a matter of fact, if Jim stayed here a little longer, we were going to do a photo shoot with his A7 Mark IV. And I told him how I would do it. Okay, and he liked that. Jim says, oh, and Peter, thank you for inserting the whoosh. Well, you know, Jim, you said in such a kind way that was one of your favorite parts. So I couldn't not put that in there. I had to do something to be pleasing to you. And so I left the whoosh in there twice. And I even put the blurring. Okay. Now everybody knows the secret. You got to whoosh counterclockwise. Okay. So that's what's going on there. And Jeff down in Australia says, this is the Jim Mundy. Great to see his face. Yes, you know, a lot of you guys see names like Jeff. What does Jeff look like? What does Roy look like? What does Randy look like? What does Sammy look like? Okay. So we are interactive with each other, and therefore it's nice when somebody comes and visits. So Randy will be here. He keeps promising. Please give a like. Yep, we got 11 likes, and we got 400,000 people in here. So put a like up there. There's no charge for them tonight. So Sammy is going, oh, no. What happened, Sam? Randy says, mow the lawn and chase alligators. I don't know what I said to make that response, but it's got to be a good one. Stop chasing the alligators. They might turn around. Oh, Sammy does have a kitty. He's got a kitty cat. Okay. So Sammy's kitty cat is saying hi to Peter. Hi, kitty cat. How you doing, baby? Good to see you. Roy says, I read the Dean Martin bio. I read the Dean Martin bio. He drank apple juice, too. All the boozing was just an image. Or so he said. Whoa. I see the thumbs up. Thank you, who's doing that. Thank you. So Sammy says amen to my prayer. He's got an important project tomorrow, and he doesn't want it to snow. So we all prayed for Sammy to have fair weather tomorrow. You know, a farmer prays for fair weather for his crop. So there's nothing wrong with if you know that one of us family members has a need for fair weather. We'll all just get behind him and pray for the fair weather. So Sammy says, great. I think my question back then was, and Sammy's answer was great, is what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of Peter? And I think Sammy's answering that question right there. He's saying, great. Randy. Randy puts in a very strong argument here. Nikon Z8 all the way. Oh, this one doesn't ding. Come on. I want a ding. I want a ding. That's loud. All right. Good for you, Randy. I agree. The Z8 would also be one of the cameras that I would have on my list. So Roy says, I could live with just the Z9, but since the 70s, I've always carried at least 2 bodies. So 2 times Z9s. Well, for this game, okay, I can't take it and I can't run your life. I'm not your manager, okay? So in other words, I don't have authority in your life, okay? So we're only allowed 1 camera. So I would have to say, you better pick a camera that's got dual card slots if that becomes important for you. Right, Roy? So Carlos is back. How did your appointment go? Carlos is the daily man. Okay. I thought of something that you should say to your clients. Well, no, then they wouldn't come back because you'd cure them. Just give thanks in everything you do. Depression is contagious, and you can catch it from yourself. Oh, in case you're wondering why I'm saying that, okay, Carlos is a licensed therapist, psychologist, one of those. He's big stuff, okay. So he gets to put people on the couch. I don't get to put people on the couch. I need to be a psychologist so I can just put people on the couch. On a serious note, probably the R3. I like that answer. The R3 is probably a super strong choice. And Randy and you are on the same wavelength. He would go with the Z8. So Roy says the A9 isn't as versatile as the A1 or the A7 Mark IV. Well, I beg to differ with you. The features that I want are the features that's in this camera. And I want them. And I'm not willing to give them up. So the only camera on the planet at any price at all that will match what this camera does is the A9 Mark III. Therefore, I am homing in on the A9 Mark III. Okay? And I'm very happy with this one. Okay? But I was eyeing Jim's A7 Mark IV, and I'm going like, gee, I wonder if I would have been happier with that camera. But it doesn't have 3 of the major features that are built into this camera. It's hard. It scrambles your mind when you start thinking about all this stuff. So, Sly is in the house. She's the only lady here. So let's be extra nice. Happy Friday, everyone. Your hair looks good tonight, Peter. Well, I finally got hot water. I was able to take a shower. So Jim can attest to it. I did not stink today. You know that scripture in the Bible where Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead? And it said, he stinketh, with a TH on the end of it. Well, I no longer stinketh. So Sly's going to be on after my show. What time is it? I don't want to walk on her. Oh, it's after 11. So we're going to have to wind this up. My show's from 10 to 11. Sly comes on at, let's aim this at me, Sly comes on at 11:30, 10:30 her time in Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Did you bring lights tonight, Sly? Did you bring lights? I'm missing the joke. I want in on the joke. Did you bring lights tonight? Did you bring lights? Lights. What could Scotty have said to his iPhone that it got interpreted as lights? How about ice? Oh, so apparently it is a thing because she answered. Sly says, nope, still no lights. Oh, I get what he's talking about. Oh, God, call me dumb. Don't you dare. Call me stupid. Don't do that either. Okay? So she went to Grant's house up in Tulsa from her house because she was not feeling very well. And she brought her little MacBook Air, and she live streamed with that. I believe, if I'm not incorrect, and I've never been wrong, I was wrong once, but I was wrong. All right, so she streamed right off the MacBook Air notebook, including the camera that was built into that notebook. Now, I don't know if she used the sound from it too. She'll probably answer those questions. You want the answers to those questions? Then you have to tune in at 11:30, 10:30 Central, 8:30 what is it, Pacific, to get the answer to that question. So Scotty says it's all good. Good. Charles said I chose the Fuji X100 Mark IV with the 40 Mark 6, did it backwards, with the 40 megapixel sensor to be able to film in ProRes 6K open gate. That is the most important thing. And it has an EVF and is allowed in events and concerts. See, the man knows what he is targeting. Okay. And here's the guy that started all of this stuff. Hey guys, how are you at Peter Gregg Live? Good to see you, Shane. Love you, buddy, of course. He put a video up today on the G9 Mark II. Now, how many people would even consider a Micro Four Thirds? Okay. Normally, I wouldn't. But you know what Micro Four Thirds is all about? The lenses, in my opinion. Everybody's got a different opinion. Shane might even have a different opinion. All right. Micro Four Thirds is all about the lenses because the camera bodies, even though they're Micro Four Thirds, haven't shrunk down. Panasonic should have made this size camera with all the stuff that's in the G9 Mark II, okay, and put a little hump on the top and put the viewfinder in. Then you're talking some serious stuff. Now, you know, not everybody is keen or focuses in on the size of the camera, but Charles just made a comment. Okay, it's allowed to go into events where other cameras wouldn't be. So a big black camera with a big long lens, hey, you can't bring that in here. No. But a much smaller, lighter camera like this one, and it's got an 11 millimeter lens on here, might be able to slip in. And it's white. Oh, how cute. That's the biggest compliment I get all the time. What a cute camera you have. And with the little fuzzy top. And sometimes they want to scratch its head. And I'm going like, don't touch my camera. Okay. So, how you doing? If you guys haven't seen Geeky Nerdy Techie's video on the G9 Mark II, he makes an argument with it, pitting it against the FX30. And I thought, oh, the FX30 is going to wipe the floor with that G9 Mark II. But you know what? The camera held its own. It did incredibly good. And it's got a far, far superior image stabilization system. Actually, the image stabilization looked like it could match the one on here, which is one of the main reasons I own this camera. You know, I'm a little more shaky these days. And when I'm talking to you and I go, hey, it's Peter Gregg, and I'm shaking this camera all over the place, and it comes out as if I was holding a gimbal. Therefore, I own this camera, okay? And that's an important feature for me. It's full frame. That's an important feature, but not a killer deal breaker, because the G9 Mark II is not a crop sensor. It's micro four thirds. We're talking some serious crop on that. Okay? Yet the camera got my attention, and it's all because of Shane. Here's my buddy Lewis. Hey, Lewis, love you and your family, and I hope everybody's doing well. I'm glad you came in tonight because I've been missing you. What camera am I on? Oh, that one. That's the E10. So that's the small brother, but not by much, to this guy. Okay? So, love you. Text me when we can get on the phone and talk sometime, Lewis. I would do the A9 III if I was doing sports photography. Well, you don't have to be just in sports. Do you assign it to that only as for specific reasons? I mean, it can do other things. It can do weddings. It can do basically anything. But I didn't say I was going to choose the one camera that you guys want. You have to choose the camera that you want. And if you choose the Sony A7R Mark V, or we have Mark V or Mark VI, I lose track with Sony. So that is important. So Roy says, can we choose two of the same cameras? Okay, Roy, you can have two of the same cameras. Remember, Roy, it's just a game. So I just wanted you to pick a camera that you could live with for at least a half a year, if not longer. That was the object of the game. Okay. So Randy says, AAA, no. Oh, wait, what does that mean? Randy, you got me so confused. Do I look confused? Well, I always look confused. AAA. Alcoholics. Wait, I can't get it out. I need another drink. Oh, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. Oh, sorry. That's amore. When that like a pasta fasul, you're in love. I love you, Jack. I just love you, Jack. No drinking on the job, that's what Randy says. Here is my buddy. I love him so much. This is Subcultured Outcast, and this is Kyle, live from Peter's Petatorium. It's Peter Gregg live. Uh-oh, Kyle is coming up with new words. Petatorium. Petorium. What? You got my tongue. Get out of my mouth, Kyle. You stay out of my mouth. Stop tying up my tongue. It's Peter Gregg live. So Roy says A9 III would be good for event, wedding, sports, but it's too specialized. That's the thing, Roy. Not joking. Putting that aside, I don't find the camera that specialized. Honestly, it's not any more specialized than any other normal camera. What's unique about it is it's got the features that are in here, which means it'll follow you if I go like this or sit over there. The camera will follow you. This will do that, okay? Very few other cameras will do that. Some of the phones will, all right? So, but the dynamic image stabilization that's on this camera, it doesn't have its equal. And Sony, in its dumb wisdom, stupidity, like that judge that made that ruling today for $300 and something million for a guy because he didn't like the way he was doing business, that judge should be hung by his yeah, that too, okay? So I don't know what Sony was thinking. Why only in one camera when it's such a good feature? I don't get it. But they put it in their $6,000 camera. Maybe it's a money thing. Maybe it's all about the cash. So Sammy says it's already 11:04, and that was 10 minutes ago. It's 11:14. I'm keeping an eye on it. Roy says, I want to know more about Sly's lights. Well, Sly had to leave. You know, when you say, get out of town, you make a joke. She took it literally, and she left town. She got up. They packed her up, and she left town. She went over 5 cities away, and she didn't bring no lights. I think she brought the camera but didn't use it. And I'm at my, I don't know how to answer about the microphone. We'll ask her when she goes live in 15 minutes. How about that? I will meet you over at Sly's in 15 minutes, and we'll get the lowdown on what she did last week, because I don't know what she's doing this week. Charles says, I think that a camera without an EVF can become problematic when filming under the sun. Big letdown. So I was outside. Thank you for reminding me, Charles. I was outside today, sitting in the sun, waiting for Roy. No, Roy never came. I was waiting for Jim, okay? And I couldn't see the brightness. I couldn't see the monitor, and this did not have an EV, a viewfinder. There's nothing to look through. And when the sun is that bright, this basically shows up like a gray-black. You can't see squat. However, they have a feature in this camera that you can set your monitor, and I just set it back. I forgot. I don't want to kill my battery. It's called sunny weather. And it makes the monitor so bright, I was actually able to use the camera while I was sitting in the sun. What time was it when you came, Jim? About 11:30? So at high noon. And I was flabbergasted. Normally you cannot see these LEDs, okay, LCDs, get the right word, out in the sun. You got to squint, you got to go like this. I was able to see it very nice. So this camera has a sunny setting. Let me tell you what the actual name is. Sunny weather. That's the actual name, okay? So I don't know if every Sony camera has that, if the A9 Mark III doesn't have that feature. But Gerald Undone said it's got every single feature that this camera has, plus it's got a bigger sensor, plus it's got dual card slots, which are on this side on this camera, plus, there was one more thing. It doesn't overheat, okay? So it's going to cost you 3 times the price of this camera to get that, but remember, we weren't including price. And what camera would you buy if you could just go to the store and bring one home? But you have to use it for 6 months or more. No other camera involved, okay? So that was a surprise, and I dealt with that just today. Just today, Roy. Roy says small cameras seem to overheat more because they keep stuffing it with stuff. More and more stuff. This does almost, it's the 1.1 crop. 120 at a 1.1 crop. That heat's got to go somewhere. That FX30 is one of the most perfect cameras if it had the feature set minus the full frame of this camera. The FX30 should have had everything that is available in this camera, okay, with its own form factor. And then that FX30 would have been almost unbeatable. It would just be personal choice at that point. Charles says cameras with removable lenses are not allowed in concerts and events and indoors. If I was faced with that, I would buy a super zoom camera where the lens is built in like a Nikon, help me Roy, what's the number? Something 900, where it goes up to, the zoom will zoom out to 2,500 millimeters. I mean, if I want to get the singer's nose hairs, the guy that's at the door would be none the wiser. It looks like a regular pocket camera. Okay, Canon has 1 or 2. Nikon has 1 or 2. And they're called super zoom cameras. And they just look like a normal camera, but it's definitely a boy because the lens just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Shh, Peter, don't talk like that, okay? So, but they get you a zoom that's just out of this world. It's crazy. So Shane says, I like the fact that they don't overheat like the Sony cameras. But Sony has that special feature built in here, Shane, that it comes with an extra helping of overheating. I mean, they worked really hard to make it overheat. The size helps the heat dissipation, is my guess, shooting at 5.8K. Yeah, the smaller these guys get, okay, the more they're going to overheat. Like, who just said that? Either Roy or Charles, okay? So, Shane says, thanks for the shout out, Peter. You're too nice. Hey, you were here. I've hugged you. Don't make that public, okay? No, you're my buddy. I would give you a shout out every day if it was necessary. I would do that for any of you guys here. But Shane has actually visited me, and we have nice conversations. We have to use FaceTime because it costs too much money to have that conversation by phone. He's down the block, but it's a pretty big block. Okay, he's in Australia. So, yeah, you guys have, if you're open-minded, today's video is crazy good, where it's taking one of the most solid cameras that you could buy, which is the Sony FX30. I mean, it's hard to beat that camera. And then he pits it against the Panasonic G9 Mark II. And I expected a slaughter. But you know something? I would actually say the G9 Mark II won. And that's a pretty big thing to say. Now, any one of you could just jump right in and say, I don't like that feature. I don't like this feature. Well, I understand that. I'm the same way. I do the same thing you do. Okay? Somebody keep track of the time here for me. I do not want to step on Sly. Okay. So, it's 11:21. Roy says, most of my clients would accept less than a 45 megapixel image. Well, you're boxing yourself in. That's not the only thing you do with the camera. And if it is, let's just say it is. Let's say the only thing you do is professional work in the studio, okay? Well, then chances are you could make that studio camera do other things for you if you had to. Okay, so see how these cameras are tailored for individual people and their needs. Roy has very specific needs, okay? So it makes it where he's going to look at something very different than I would look at it. But remember, I've been there. So if I was that Peter Gregg back then, I wouldn't be picking this camera, okay? I would be picking the A9 Mark III. Or I might actually go for the Z8. The only thing with the Z8 is I'm not so sure how the image stabilization is in comparison to this and the G9 Mark II. G9 Mark II. These names getting me... Okay. So Roy says, I played with the A9 III. It's not as impressive as I thought. The A9 II was better. I think the sync on the A9 III, I like the flash sync on the A9 III. More like the sync on a medium format camera. Yeah, it goes up to 1/80th of a second. 80,000th of a second. Charles says the A9 III is a good camera, but I am not so sure I would spend... The money's got nothing to do with it. Not interested in the money part. But if your A9 Mark III won't get you into a concert and it's something that's critical to you, hey, you need to pick the camera for your needs, Charles. That's the name of the game. Don't be sitting there telling me price, price, price. Price has got nothing to do with this game. Remember, this is my channel. I'm making the game. And I want the camera to fit your life. Now, the A9 Mark III would not fit your life because you'd have to stop going to concerts. You can't have that. That would be dumb. So that argument is not valid. The pricing is not valid. Roy got it right. He would just get the Z9, and because he's a professional, I'll let him have two. Okay. Field monitor and bright sun works even better. Norm is here. Cool to see a guest in the Christmas room this evening. I'm waiting for you to come down and visit me, Norm. Oh, I needed to ask you a question. You know what? I can't remember what it was. So, did you have dinner? Did you have chicken? Did it survive or did it die again? Norm kills more chickens than anybody I know. Well, I just bought 2 chickens. Shh, don't tell Norm that. Love you, Norm. Thanks you. I do speak English sometimes. The Nikon Coolpix 900. Did they up it to 1,000? The wife has one. Those are really cool cameras. I mean, they're not sexy. You're not going to win any contests with it, but you can enter pictures that nobody, and don't tell them what you used, and the camera is good enough where it can pass. It can pass the mustard. So I do like the 100 megapixel mode on the Panasonic G9 Mark II. That's something new. That's something that these cameras are doing these days. Okay. And one of them, I think it's Sony, allows you to hand hold it to do that. I'm not sure that feature is on the Panasonic. But you could get an eyebrow and make a wall poster out of it at 100 megapixels. Ba-bum. So Roy says most of his clients are not on the internet. The A9 III would be enough if it was internet oriented. See how there's so many different strokes for different folks? It becomes important. Roy says the Nikon Z9. I like the Z9 also, Roy. That's one of the things. Do the guests have to travel by sleigh? Absolutely. That's the first requirement before the contract is signed. If you don't come in by sleigh, we have no landing facilities here for people that don't arrive by sleigh. You'll be circling forever trying to get a landing pad. Charles says, Peter, you are quick to jump to conclusions without reading the whole post. I got burned by Charles. I read the whole post. I certainly did. I dislike pixel shift. Yeah, but one man's garbage is another man's treasure, right? And I think I made it to the end, and we've got 3 minutes to spare. So you guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Next week is Picture Week. So get your pictures all lubed up. Get them hot and ready to go. Next week, we'll have Sammy's camera stand. Bring in the Toshiba. Put it right here. And we'll start looking at pictures again. All right? So I need to sign out in order to get over to Sly. Okay? So here we go. Good night. Love you all.
Silent night, oh holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round the Virgin, the Mother, the Child, holy infant, he's tender, he's mild. Silent night, oh holy night, Son of God, love's pure light. Radiant beams from your holy face, with the dawning of saving grace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds shake at that sight. Glory is streaming from heaven above, heavenly angels sing.
just watched another Peter Gregg video. Something warm, human, and wonderful happens when you watch Peter Gregg. Thank you for watching.